And now, allegedly, where we slow the story down. This is about insight versus impact, learning from what we observe. Instead of paying the price ourselves, their experiences become our education. So growth doesn't have to come with damage.
Strong organizations are built on more than strategy, they're built on people. At Human Impact Development Consulting, we help organizations strengthen leadership and support staff well-being. We put clear people systems in place that actually work. From HR advisory and policy development to leadership support, we cover it all. Our approach is practical, ethical, and people-centered. If ready for clarity, confidence, and sustainable impact, visit sandrinedunkley.com. Human Impact Development Consulting, where people systems meet performance.
Where truth meets opinion and headlines meet hard questions. Okay, welcome to Allegedly Season 3, Episode 32. All right. Oh my gosh, can you believe we're at Episode 32? Now, for today in Allegedly, I have a couple of clips that I want to react to that I got from TikTok, and we're just going to get right into it because we don't want to waste any time. I'm Coach Raquel, and welcome back. Please do not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I appreciate you, and I value your participation and support. Okay, so let's go. But before we start to talk the people's business, let's do some house cleaning, some housework. Let's go to our fair use disclaimer first. All right, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. And I also want to add to that, there's a little practice that I have, and you've heard it in the intro, the opening for this segment. We do this, I see these stories as, breakdowns that other people are going through, as moments other people are having that can inspire my own self-work, your self-work, our self-work, inspire us to work on self so we can achieve, so we can achieve breakthroughs in our lives. We're not just here to gossip and just talk about their story just because we can. No, we're here to explore their stories. Yes, talk about it too, because we're not going to pretend as though it's not entertaining. It is, but it can be as equally empowering as it is entertaining. And let us consider entertainment with mindfulness, that we do not disparage or demean people, and that we are mindful of people's pain. Because I tell you, I think there is a curse that comes with mishandling people's pain and trauma, because pain and trauma is a direct link with God, is how I see it, because that's how God, I believe this is how God talks to us. This is how God gets us to do his will. This is how he bends our minds and our wills to his way. So we ought to be careful and mindful and cautious in how we're handling other people's story. All right, so now we're going to go into our video. We're starting out with a clip from an interview that Tasha K had with Amanda Seales. Amanda Seales is one of those persons who I'm very intentional about supporting. I support Tasha K too, but not as intentional. Tasha K is more like, to be honest, she uses entertainment in a very powerful way to give meaningful information, especially when it comes to health and stuff. I realize that she's really into those things, and she has the wisdom to know how to use the gossip to get the attention, to get the crowd, so she can then present meaningful information. And she's doing something that I believe is very powerful, where she's doing with her lawyer, where she's helping persons navigate bankruptcy. It is powerful. It is powerful. And they have to, man, we love gossip. We really have to reculture our minds to appreciate positive content. It's something that I'm extremely mindful of with myself, you know? Yeah. I have to recondition my mind. So, and I love Amanda Seals. I love her. Love her, love her, love her. I'm intentional about supporting her. Yeah, so let's go.
What I'm saying is, with someone with your knowledge, right, and your expertise, you've been in Hollywood, you've been out.
You're asking me to change how I
I'm not
exist.
asking you to change.
Yes, you are, because I need you to know something.
I just
confidence can be quiet, confidence can be loud, but at the end of the day, confidence is an assurance that you've created for yourself because you've done the work. You've seen the results of your work, so you're confident, and that makes people who are not confident feel some type of way. And we live in a society that actively seeks to make us feel.
My gosh, I'm going to let her finish, but I have to say this. Yesterday I had to sit with myself and say, Raquel, why do you have cognitive dissonance around love and relationship? Because I realized that I'll feel rejected by somebody, but I'm still desiring them. And I sat there and I said to myself, do you know that you love movies, and I'm happy that you love movies, but you have developed a habit and a conditioning of cognitive dissonance. And I sat there and I'm like, oh my gosh, are they intentionally conditioning us to be cognitive dissonant? To have cognitive dissonance, okay? Is there an intention to make sure that, because even when I think of the Bible, it's like we read it, we know it's the past, but for some reason, we ignore our own instinct to relive when that's not what it's for. It's like there is a constant, all the training and the conditioning and the church and the education system. And I'm not saying all, because I see, especially these two churches that I spoke with you about, the reason I even mentioned them on my program is because I see an intention from them to talk, to cater to the positive life outcomes of people. And it's not just about, they're not just about heavily mindedness. They are about the quality of life that you live right now. Because I had to check myself, like, when it comes to love and relationship, there's cognitive dissonance. It's like I see someone rejecting me, so why am I still here cultivating a desire for them? Why am I still here cultivating love for this person? Yeah, like, yes, I can have love in my heart and even my soul for you, but I don't need to farm it. I don't need to cultivate it. I don't need to invest in it. Not unless I see where we're both at the same place, and you've demonstrated to me that you actually value and desire this love in your life. Because it can be there, but I don't have to feed it. I don't have to nurture it. I don't have to fertilize it at all. And then I can focus on fertilizing actual relationships that are healthy for me, that are mutually beneficial, that has a mutual desire, that has mutual interest and investment. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is something I really, really, really need to think about, to make sure I don't lock myself into anything, any ideology, any circumstance, any situation, because I have some information about it that I can't circumnavigate. Does that make sense? Right. So it's the same thing. It's like it's like almost like if you're positive and confident, it's like you become a problem. And I understand it, because you see, we claim that we serve God. We claim that we are obeying God. We claim that we're living for God, right? Not for God, but living a life that God would be proud of. But then when we really look at what we call the broad road and the narrow road, do we choose people in our lives that hold us accountable? Do we choose people in our lives that will make us not get so comfortable that we conform to this world? Do we choose like that? And before we can even think of choosing people like that, we first have to be at a place where we are holding ourselves accountable, where we have our own confidence. Because I've heard persons hate on Amanda. And these are people who are thought leaders and people who have sway and who have large followings. And I've heard them going on her. And when I hear them going on her, I'm like, oh my God, look at the play. Look at the play. Yeah, because when you really, if you really take your own, do your own homework and go to Amanda, you realize that Amanda is actually an advocate for the Black community and for positive outcomes for Black communities and Black people, right? She is passionate about who she is, her roots, but she's confident, and she does not allow people to diminish her. And when she walks into rooms, she owns who she is, and she will not allow you to silence her or put her in a corner or put her in a box. And guess what happened? She is now dubbed problematic. And in my dear little, oh my God, I ordered my dear little Black girl book last night, and I can't wait for it to get here. Now, in that book, I have one of my editions is on, oh my gosh, it slipped me a little bit. It's on something, yeah, one of them is called Be Problematic. Be problematic. I'm not saying you shouldn't, there are not moments or spaces within which you should be agreeable, but those are spaces where it should have already been established that there's an agreement where your care and your well-being and your wellness is a priority. You must first be a priority in any space, place, or with any group. You must first be a priority before you start becoming agreeable or amenable or start making shifts and changes and what do they call that when you and compromises. You must be of high priority in any space you seek to compromise. You must first be a priority. Your positive outcome, your positive outcome must first be a priority before you even think of compromising or being agreeable. Your welfare must matter first. All right. So be confident. And I love that Amanda does not allow anyone to put her in a corner, baby. She's going to show up herself, and I'm quite like that. I have realized and learned that it doesn't matter what space I'm in. If you're seeking to diminish me, I don't care how I feel about you. I don't care what you've done for me. If you're seeking to diminish me, put my light under a bushel, baby, then you're not where I need to be.
Like, we cannot be confident about anything. It constantly gaslights us. It constantly lies to us. Confident feel some type of way, and we live in a society that actively seeks to make us feel like we cannot be confident about anything. It constantly gaslights us. It constantly lies to us. It constantly tells us that we are not worthy,
and constantly publicly punish people who show confidence.
To that is counterintuitive. No, I'm going to be who I am.
Absolutely.
And I am direct.
Yes.
I am sharp.
Yes.
I am honest.
Yes.
And I'm on the internet in pockets.
There you go.
People see 3 minutes and think that's your existence. You know, and a lot of times I'm packaged by other people who don't have my best interest or the people's best interest.
A lot of times I'm packaged and presented by other people who does not have her best interest at heart. You know, there's a clip that I saw in an interview where they were talking, and I have not watched the documentary, so I'm not commenting on the entire documentary, but I have to say this. There's a clip that I saw of them talking about Sean Combs, and they showed a clip of him talking to his lawyers. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, right? He was talking with his lawyer. And the way they present the clip was when he said, listen, I hire you, you're professionals, do your job. I don't care who you have to do. And I am saying to you that when they put that clip up, they actually put the clip up as a way of demeaning him, as a way of saying, look how horrible he is, look how he behaves, I've had that happen to me. Let me tell you something. What Sean Combs did was a boss move. But you see, and that's what I'm saying, it's like they're conditioning us to not have confidence. So you see, when you show a clip like that and you make it out to be a bad thing and you make it out to be horrible and you make him out, oh, he's being a monster. He's being a monster because he's being a man. He's being a monster because he's being a boss. He's being a monster because he's commanding and demanding that the people who he has hired must do their job. So he's a monster. He's a monster because he is saying, I will accept nothing but your best My life is on the line. My life is at stake. My money is at stake. My money is on the line. My wealth, all my hard work, all my rewards for all my hard work is on the line. And you expect me to come and say what? Could you please make sure that you win this case? The what? WTF? You see how they train our young people to not stand up for themselves, to not be assertive, to not be confident, to not command respect in the room? I am paying you. Ooh, my clothes is ripping apart. I'm paying you to do your job. Do your job. You're the professionals. Get it done. I want answers. I don't want any problems. I don't want to hear the issues. Fix it. That's why I hired you. That's how he is supposed to show up. He's supposed to show up, man. And I'm not saying that all men will show up that way. I'm going to share something with you about someone who's very special to me. He did the cutest thing the other day. I found it very sexy. We were talking, and I was just talking and going on. And I'm telling you, like, I was interrupting him, constantly interrupting him. And let me tell you something. That man did not tell me, he never said a word, but he said everything. My man did a little silence thing, you see, on me. Like, it was a loud moment of silence. And let me tell you, that moment of silence was, girl, sit your ass down. A man is in the room. You know? It was the most attractive, like, I love that kind of thing. No disrespect, no loud sounding, no nothing. He just did it in such a way that I'm like, all right, I'll sit down. I'm seated on the floor. Okay, there you go. So everyone will not sound the same, but how dare you? And I'm sure he doesn't sound like that if his life is threatened and he's about to lose everything. So there are different places for different things. Courage is not always roaring, but it's not always silent either. And moments call for different things. So what Sean Combs was doing in that moment was correct. His life was on the line. His money was on the line. And he's saying, listen to me, I've been an employer, so I understand. Sometimes persons only have your job. There's a thing running on TikTok right now. If I have money, I wouldn't take the job, but I don't have any money, so I have to take the job. See? Some people only take the job because they have the money. So you paying the money has to make sure they do the job. They do the job. So, they try to diminish. So we have to be mindful that we're in a society that is conditioning us for broad road. So narrow road behavior must be intentional.
So they will take a video and then throw on some stuff in it or throw in some stuff at the back of it, but they're actually misrepresenting
and also sometimes they use sound effects that did not happen in the real life event. They use sound effects to hammer that home, to cement it. That's what they did even with the Sean Combs thing. The music is playing and you're hearing him. See? And if you're not a thinker, an independent thinker, you leave there thinking. And if you're not someone who understands entrepreneurship, money, if you're not someone with wealth, the majority of the people don't necessarily have Sean Combs' money. So they don't even understand what he's facing. They can't connect.
Said. So a lot of times there's that. There's also the reality that sometimes I am staying.
That's right. Yes. Sometimes staying is
I'm that way. So listen.
Everybody is. That's why
we all have listen, I love attitude, okay? I love real. And we have to get to a place where we really, really, truly desire real. For me, pretense is what turns me off. Don't pretend, don't be fake, don't give me what you don't want to give me. Be yourself. You feel like yelling, yell. I don't care. It's okay. Not that I don't care, but it's okay. Be yourself. Do you. I got you. Just be real with me. Just give me your truth so we can have a real experience. Real experience.
Like, who the hell is y'all talking to?
That's
like,
right,
we're all
baby.
Multi-dimensional people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think there's
one
expectation for me to show up in a way that is comfortable for people. And that is a
that's not my
people-pleasing
job.
expectation. I'm not showing up to be comfortable for you.
No, not
I am
my
in
job.
this lifetime, and I'm doing my best in this lifetime. And the only way that I can
and
best exist
this is what I always
is in my
say.
true
Everyone
self. And my
is
true
doing
self
their
is
best.
not going to put on a front.
Yeah. Exactly. So be yourself. Do you. And those who love you will love you. Let's go to the next clip.
Watch this video.
You see me?
Disclaimer, what I'm going to say is going to touch you in some ways, okay?
First of all, I reject what she just said. And I reject what the guy who introduced it said. How dare you think that you're going to come here to me with something positive, with something good, with something that it's not a bad thing, but you think I'm going to reject it because what? Why? You don't think I know what's best for me? You don't think I don't like it when people do that. Say what you have to say and let me react to it. And now you're going to hear what she had to say. And he said, again, this is how they culture a mindset within us that reject good things, make us feel like we're not open to positive experiences and to positive ways of being and whatever. Listen to what she's going to say and listen to how they open it. It's like a backhanded, not backhanded compliment, but a backhanded way of teaching someone something. If you have something to teach someone, just teach them. Leave off that ugliness at the beginning. But then again, I can't tell you how to be. What I have to say is, all right, Raquel, there's some useful information here. Just focus on the part that's useful. They're not obligated to present it in my way. But I'm saying pay attention to how they present things to you. Pay attention. Play it again.
Is going to piss a lot of women off. Watch this video.
She's going to piss a lot of women off. And sometimes they also do that because they know that we love this kind of thing. So, and that's not why I watched it. As a matter of fact, when I heard that part, I didn't watch it. I left, but because I saw other clips of it, right? I saw other clips of it. And I'm like, I really like what she's saying because that's actually how I feel about relationships in this life. But listen to it. So you have to be careful. What attracts your attention? Negative energy? Critique? People talking down to you? Those are things to be mindful of.
Video.
You see me? Disclaimer, what I'm going to say is...
Gaslighting and rage baiting. Try not to have those things be stimulants for you. Try not to let it be that rage baiting and gaslighting is what gets your attention. Because you see, they present things how it gets your attention.
Going to touch you in some ways, okay? So be prepared. Your man is the one to teach you how to be a wife to him.
Absolutely.
A man is the one who is going to teach you how to be a wife to him.
Then who else could?
And how does he teach you how to be a wife to him? First, let's establish that marriage is governance.
Yes.
It's lord over you.
Absolutely.
You're entering a regime. You're entering a government.
Absolutely.
So you have a head over you.
That's it.
So this head, this government has rules and regulations, has ways to do things, has curfews, tells you what to wear, what to cook, how the direction of the family is going, what business to invest to. He tells you everything.
And as with any government, people will surrender to their government based on how their government regard and treat them. So all the men getting happy, good. Because of course, if I'm going to marry a man and I'm not prepared to be in submission to him, then it means that I'm signing up for misery. I'm signing up for misery for the rest of my life. Right? All of what she's saying, absolute fact. And I do think in a lot of cases, when women refrain from really submitting is because the leader has not submitted himself to the process. The leader is not showing up government. The leader is not showing up boss. The leader is showing up wondering if you're there to steal from him. The leader is showing up as though he lacks capacity. The leader is showing up missing, absent. Don't know how to say, I don't know something. Don't know how to say, I need help. Don't know how to say, I love you. I'm here. Don't even know how to choose right. Doesn't even know how to choose right. Doesn't even know how to choose the woman who would actually submit to him. Many men are out here chasing asses. Asses go to the toilet. Asses go to toilet. That's what ass is for. Sit on, to sit on. Okay? Anyway, let's continue.
Leads, protects, provide. That is a government. It takes care of its people. In godly marriages, it is God, man, then woman. And God brings instructions to man. how to govern his family. Your work is to listen. Your work is to follow. Your work is to obey.
And let's be clear. Listen, follow, and obey does not mean that you disappear. It doesn't mean you don't get to ask questions. It doesn't mean you don't get to disrupt. It doesn't mean you don't get to say, hang on here, I'm unclear. I'm seeing a little bit of an error. It doesn't mean you don't participate. It's not one way, right? But this is how I view marriage. Let's say my husband wants me to do something and I think he's telling me the wrong thing to do. I'm going to approach it like business. I'm going to request a meeting, if that's possible, so we can have a conversation. If at the end of our conversation, that man says to me, thank you for your feedback. No, we're proceeding as I said. Even if in my head I see failure down the line, I am going with what he says. Because there can never be failure down the line if he's the one doing it. You know, there is one time I think there are two times. No. There's one time in my life that I met somebody who I could close my eyes and walk off a cliff with that person, and I would not worry about my landing, even if my landing was death. I'd have been completely okay with it. Yeah, but that has to be a mutual thing. And anyway, I'm just sharing an experience of my experience. I've never been married, so I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not talking about an actual thing that happened, but just something for me in my soul that I've experienced with somebody, right? But if I'm already married to this person, and I think sometimes people don't submit out of fear, and sometimes fear comes because of lack of trust. Because if you're a government and you're busy cheating, taking out the money from here, taking it over there, putting this over there, doing that over there. For example, there's some Americans who are concerned that Israel is being prioritized over America. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying in the news right now, if you're listening, that's what I'm hearing, where some Americans are concerned, like, hold on, Israel have free healthcare, America does not. So why do I feel like America is sending so much money to Israel? Then people are not going to feel comfortable with the government. It's the same thing when I'm in a man and wife. If that person, and I'm not saying it's even fact, if they even feel that it might be the case, and you do not provide the clarity and transparency and security that they need to know, no, I'm not stealing behind your back. I'm not building a safe haven for me while you are here struggling. There's certain things that government has to do in order to secure the total surrender of its people. Because you see how God operates? Look what God did. God made sure that everything was prepared before he took anybody on, before he created anybody. He's saying, I'm going to give you the security. So when I ask you to obey me, when I ask you to do what I ask you to do, I would have demonstrated to you an unending love first. The Bible said he sent his only son to die. And we have men talking about money and she just want my money or whatever. If you have to worry if she just wants your money, you're marrying the wrong woman for the wrong reason. Go to the one that you know truly loves you, that you know God gave you, that you know will surrender and love her. But you now have to ask yourself, can I love what is good for me? Do I have the capacity to truly love and do good? Like the Bible says, love your wife like Christ loved the church. Can you love the one that's best for you, the one God has for you, like Christ loves the church? And be honest, because we're, again, chasing asses, chasing what looks a certain way, chasing how. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Because I feel like I'm talking to myself too. Because to be honest with you, who I feel God called me to love doesn't want me. And so I've been asking myself, so God, can I go to who want me? Because what wants me is like my fantasy, is like the man I dreamed about. And to be honest with you, that's not my call to make. That's not my call to make. That's God's call to make. And I'm going to sit my ass down and let my God do what it needs to do, what God needs to do. And if I have to die in the way he wants me to be, then that's what's going to happen. that's what's going to happen. But because God did not restrict me, and even the person did not force me either, because I got liberty, because I got release, because I got openness, because I am not tied down, I'm here. I'm here, and I'm going to trust God's leadership always, because we also have to have faith and know that, and trust. We have to trust our partners to fail, to delay, to make mistakes. We have to. They're humans. So there's lots to consider. But as a woman, in my relationship, the man is the man. I don't care how anyone sees me. I serve God. And in my household, it's God, the man, then me. I say, what do I say? Mom is the business, dad is the boss, and the kids are the branches. Mom is the business. We're the ones who do, we have the details. We're the ones who, we're the field agents. We're the second in command. We do whatever needs to be done to make sure his desire or what his outcome is happens, right? In the best way and in his favor, right? So mom the business, dad the boss, and the kids the branches. That's just how I see it, right? So if when I marry, or should I marry, everything, my brain, my degrees, my experiences, my resources, all my resources are at the table for my husband to do with as he pleases. And if he decides he's going to rob his own household, one, I'm not going to anticipate it. I'm not going to conceive it in my mind. I want nothing to do with it. So if he decides on his own to do that, that's between him and God. What I know is that God's got me. God's got me. So if God allows for that man to pull the rug from under my feet, then I know either whatever the outcome of that is going to be, that's what God wants to happen to me. So I'm not, my husband will never intentionally hurt me. And I know that. I know that. And if I choose to marry a man who I think could do that, then I'm making a choice. And it's not the man who's going to fail me. I would have already failed myself. Let's go.
Your work is to inspire. Your work, I know this is going to touch you in fact, it's going to pain you. You won't
Why would it pay me? What the
WTF?
Why would it pay me? Let's move on because it's irritating me. Let's please. It just irritates me. Let me say this. My fellow ladies, if what she just said truly irritates you, then you're not ready for marriage. It means you don't love yourself. If knowing, I cannot imagine any woman who does not want to inspire her husband. I know for me, the only thing for me between me and inspiring a man is access and permission and knowing that I'm doing something that he values. I have to have the agreement of the man that he wants me, he wants to be with me, and he wants me to have that role as his wife. If I don't have that, I will be hesitant with everything I do with him. I cannot surrender. And I don't see why it would be any different for any other woman. If this is my husband, the man I chose to surrender my life to, why would it be an irritant for me to hear someone say I should inspire him? I don't care. Let me tell you, cheating is my deal breaker. At the beginning of the agreements, when I'm marrying someone, I would have communicated that. And should that happen and I find out, and it will be a complete shock to me because my husband will never cheat on me and I will never plant that in my brain. He will never do that to me. Should anything happen that comes to me and I have evidence of something happening, the decision of how I handle that will be between myself and God. And because I already know God and I've already communicated, and I would have in that relationship communicate my deal breaker, I would move on with no issues. I'd be happy to say, thank you for demonstrating to me that you no longer want to be with me. I wish you nothing but the best. Go be happy with who you want to be with. The issue that we face is possession. We want to possess and we don't want to deal with change. Divorce is just a change. It's a redirection. It's not some wicked evil that someone does to you. God has allowed for a redirection, a repositioning, a growth to happen. A growth to happen. Nobody can harm me unless God approves it. Nobody. There's not a human on earth that can touch a hair on my head without the God who I know. You see, I don't know God from Bible. I know God from lived experiences. And I know that God is with me. And any circumstance I must face is because God allowed it, and he's with me because he allowed it. There is no space, no time, no circumstances, no person who can come between me and God. Unless me, myself, decide to put on God for a man. And if I have to put God on for a man, I'm with the wrong man. It's that simple. So my husband will never have to worry about my surrender to him, ever. Because I am not just surrendering to him for him. It will be surrendering to him in God. And so whatever decisions he wants to take, that's on him. What I have to do is make sure on entering this agreement, I am clear about my boundaries. I'm clear about the things that I will not tolerate. And then he has the choice. He then has the choice. And we have to be fair with each other. If you know cheating is my deal breaker and you've done it, we don't need to argue. I will always love you. I just cannot live with this, because this is not something that I'm willing to tolerate. And I would have talked to God about it, and I would have talked to him about it. But no, there's no way in this life I would marry a man I'm not completely submitted to and surrendered to. Never, never. There's some of us out here making life decisions on world resources, making spiritual compromises for money, making spiritual compromises for things and for looks and for feelings and for lust. I don't know what happens to me when I'm no longer here. But you know, one of the things sometimes I think about, what if where I go, what if the next level after death must be prepared for based on my obedience here? What if where I'm going next requires like the legacy of my investments in life, the life choices I've made? What if the return on investment will determine how I perform where I go next? What if I'm not going to burn in a hellfire, but I'm going to go to another planet or world that is more intense than this one, that has more temptations than this one? Oh, why am I getting emotional? But this is why I got emotional, because this is what we have to understand. And I don't know about you. I don't know Bible so well, but I have a relationship with God, and I have literally experienced God being hurt because I made poor decisions that hurt me. I've experienced God being hurt because I was disobedient. I've experienced God being hurt because I'm not walking in the light that he prepared and created for me. And I cannot afford to disappoint God more. I cannot afford. It's not about Bible for me. It's not about heaven for me. It's not about being a good person. It's that I know God and I cannot disrespect him anymore. I cannot live a life that make him look bad. I cannot be so focused on the little world things that I dishonor the very essence, the very source of my life, the very person who designed and created me and us. I'm going to say this. There is a man that God showed me and said, that is your husband, right? And that man does not want me. And I don't want him to settle for me either. I want him to love who God tells him is his wife. Yeah? And I want him to be happy. And if God says to me that this is the man I'm supposed to marry, and that man says no, and to honor God, I have to be single, sexless, and companionless the rest of my life, I'm okay with it. And it's not because of the man. It's because of the God. Because I know the only way that man will not be my husband is if God says, I told you this, I did not lie to you, he is, but I'm going to make a different decision. That would be that, because God knows that in the end, that's the best decision. And I will live the rest of my life loving this person. Yes. What I'm trying to say is, let me use another example. If tomorrow, and I've been there, where God took everything from me, and and the moment it happened, I knew it was God. If God says you need to sit in a cell for the rest of your life, if anywhere, any situation I end up in, I know God would have approved it, so I will do it. And I'm not saying I won't complain, I won't cry, I will go through it, whatever, but I don't want anybody to don't try to save me. God's got this, and if God don't send you to me, don't come, because I don't want anything other than what God wants for me. So when it comes to marriage, and when it comes to things we're doing with each other, we ought to be careful. We're dealing with people who God loves. I don't care it's a murderer. I don't care who it is. We're dealing with people God loves, who God loves. So we've got to be careful what we're doing with them. So let me go back. Of course, if I marry a man, he has my complete surrender. That's it. It's that simple for me. Let's keep going.
Exactly what you're required to do. Uplift, nurture. Make him become what he was called to be. The Bible says, exactly. It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a suitable helpmate. You're suitable for him. You're made for him. And he is the only one who can teach you how to be for him.
Exactly. Who else could teach you how to be for him? Like, of course. And I think sometimes where leaders fail is that they fail in the picking. Did they choose who God told them to? And two, did you create the training that was necessary for the person to understand? And are you consistent? Is your communication clear and consistent? So when you make changes, did you sit with, and you have to give them transition? Did you take the time to understand and learn how they adjust to changes, how they move? You see what I'm saying? So you have to, there's some things as a leader that you have to also do to ensure that persons can actually follow you. And because somebody might want to surrender. I know I've gone through that, You may want to do something like in that work, your employer wanted to do something. For me, I will just try till I get it. But sometimes I need clarity, even with my clients. Sometimes, yesterday, right, I rebranded I did a complete overhaul of one of my clients' website. You know why I did that? Because for the first time, the client actually went through the website and sent me a complete document, revised and tailored to what they really need. And guess what happened? I took the entire day and did an overhaul of the entire site for her, because I became clear on her direction, where she wants it to go, because I am here to support her. That's my job. I am my husband's support center. That's why I'm here. If the man you're marrying, you're not his support center, why are you marrying him? World reasons. Okay, well, that's between you and God. I can't speak to that. Let's keep going. Let's keep there. Let's go to the next clip. The next clip is no. Let's hear this man, and I respect this man so much for daring to go there. You know, we talk about so many things, but let's look at what's really going on, because we're talking about surrendering to our husbands. Let's say you surrender to your husband, and your husband is a part of this. And you see, one of the things with us is sometimes we don't like to face the truth of something. You know, I'm the kind of person who's going to tell my husband, hey, this is what I'm seeing. I'm still here for you, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth of how you're behaving, what's happening. And one of the things I have made a commitment to myself is never to be fake, because I cannot have a real experience with anyone if I show up fake. Everything does not have to be comfortable. And what is comfortable? What is comfortable? Because I'm changing my idea of comfortable. I will be comfortable because I understand that change is consistent, and I understand that pain is life. So pain does not make me uncomfortable. Pain says to me, oh, we're going somewhere. We're making progress. Yes. There's no growth without changes and moving around and adjustments. Yes. Right? Let's listen to what this man is saying.
So OnlyFans made $7.2 billion.
$7.2 billion.
$7.2 billion worldwide, 2025.
That's right.
This is the top 10 countries. And even the countries outside of this top 10 list, when they tallied up all the revenue, all the countries combined, $7.2 billion.
Wow.
That's a freaking shame. This says that, unfortunately, a lot of men can't be trusted.
Lust.
A lot of men are impulsive.
Lust. And guess what
A lot of
happened?
men.
And these are heads of households. These are the leaders. I don't know where men find space to complain about any woman's flaws when men, the leadership, in the outcome of the world, the country is as a result of leadership. Where are the men holding men accountable? Where are men holding men accountable? Because if my leader doesn't hold the men around him accountable, he will never be the quality leader he's meant to be. Because before you get a woman's surrender, you need to have a network of men around you who you hold accountable, and they hold you accountable and keep you in leadership. Who are those people who sharpen you? Where do men get time to talk about women when this is what men are out here doing? I think there is so much of mentorship and correction and accountability that men need to do with men, and the same thing I said for women, that women need to do with women. Because if we all work on, if we are all working on ourselves, how can we fail? But we fail because we take our eyes off God and off self and put it on somebody else. Oh, that person is not doing that, and that person is not doing that. What are you doing? How are you showing up? If that person is so terrible, how did you end up in their space? How did you end up in a space of someone who lied to you? Who are you being?
Struggling with lust. And a lot of y'all men are down low. Because a lot of y'all men that's on that OnlyFans crap, that incel website, a lot of y'all ain't even looking at women. You're looking at men.
All right. And I did a whole episode on that. So I'm not even touching it.
Handstand,
all right.
throwing it in a circle. And the nerve of some of y'all be on these platforms, on these podcasts, whining about women, bashing women, lip gloss popping, spray on hairline having, side teeth missing, satchel purse wearing to the front having. Man, stop talking about women. Stop talking about women. Y'all dudes need to be talking about this.
All right.
I'm giving y'all something to talk about. Let's talk about this.
This
Leave
is
women alone, bro. This right here,
this right here.
nah, bro. This
This
needs
right
to be the
here.
topic of
This
discussion.
right here.
$7.2 billion.
And also think about it. If men are to provide for women and men are not marrying women, what do women do to get provided for? Some of them do OnlyFans. Some of them marry men for money. Some of them, because if that's your job to provide, excuse me, and if you stop providing, people may end up becoming thieves. And I'm not saying it's okay to be a thief at all. But the order is going to be the order. The natural order is going to be the natural order, no matter what we do, no matter how we twist and steer it in our own way, I mean, what do I know? When it comes to relationship, I don't feel like I have enough to say, because my longest relationship and my closest relationship and my most intimate relationship has been me and God. Me and God. I have not had, no man has ever committed to me. No man has ever chosen me. No man has ever pursued me like that. No man has ever fought for me like that in any real way and decided, no, this is my wife and I'm going to make her my wife. No man has ever sacrificed for me like that. So I can't speak to it. I can't really speak to it. God has done that for me. God has been the one that shows up for me, so that's the only thing I can reference,
Like old buddy, Michigan University. He was on OnlyFans. The coach. They got fired. So we got a lot of police officers, pastors,
husbands,
lawyers,
God,
doctors,
hallelujah,
fathers, husbands, grandfathers. Subscribe to this incel crowd. But y'all got all this smoke for women and all these little goofy, little sassy talking points. Some of y'all, you don't want a woman. You want a man with a strong back.
You're right there.
That you can hold on to.
All I can say is God has proven himself faithful. And I'm not talking about magic God or Bible God, or I'm talking about the source, the real source of life, God, who created us, who remains with us. And I trust God's plans for me because they have never failed. And the only times I've ever truly failed were those times I tried to steer things my way because they were taking too long, or I didn't know that it would actually work out for me. So what I do, I find spaces where I can safely have conversations or discussions around the things that I'm thinking about or things that I am unclear about. And I find that once I find spaces where I can express myself, it helps me it helps me limit the amount of poor decisions I make, and it helps me with the weight, and it helps me with the growth. You see, networking, having the right network around you. And it's also useful that I have people who care about me, people who are kind to me, thoughtful of me, considerate of me. And I have people who give me their time, So, and what I do is I honor myself, I honor where I'm at, and I live in my truth, because I find that when I don't own my truth, that also leads me to poor decisions, because I'm trying to appear like something I'm not, So you see, I'm unafraid to come on here and tell you I've never been pursued like that. I've never been married, and there are times when other persons have a different opinion on it than I do, because I've also not chosen. I've been proposed to, but I trust God. I trust my process. I trust my life process. I have real joy inside. So my life is where it's meant to be, because I have real joy, and I have some quality people who I know love me. I know love me. And I feel full. To be honest, the only thing I feel like I'm missing is sex. And I don't want to just have sex with just anyone. That's not something I want. I want blessed sex. I want sex that feels blessed. And I'm not even saying that's what marriage brings per se. I want sex that feels like this is holy. This is communion. This is God blessed this. Not just because of who I marry, but that I marry who God told me to. Or I am in a marriage that God himself designed and coordinated, even if it's for 5 minutes or 10 million years. You know, because like I said, if this life is preparing me for the next, for another, let me put it that way, prepare me for another, I want to run this race with mindfulness. And with that said, thank you so much for listening to, for watching and listening both to Allegedly Today. I'm Coach Raquel, and please remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and know that I appreciate and value you. So thank you so much for staying with me so far. I love to open new packages. I will give you the latest information on top funding opportunities for entrepreneurs who are seeking funding. Come along with me. I'm Coach Raquel, and this is a passion project for me. So I'm so happy to bring this to you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching.
Unlock your potential every Thursday with our podcast, Refresh, Relax, Renew. Join Coach Raquel as she guides you through personal development journeys. Each episode focuses on actionable steps to enhance your personal journey. The podcast features 3 main segments to keep you engaged. We start with discussions on trending topics relevant to your growth. Then we unbox solutions to common challenges we face daily. Finally, stay updated with fresh funding opportunities each week. Tune in every Thursday for new episodes, and see you there.
Welcome to mycoachministry.com. We're on a mission to empower 1 million purpose-driven entrepreneurs, turning calling into currency. Through strategic coaching, we guide visionary leaders, brand elevation, and creative empowerment, helping leaders break barriers and own their identity. Build impactful, wealth-generating brands that echo across generations.